You know, that's the dilemma that I'm facing.
Yeah, and Pastor, you're not alone.
Yeah.
And I think we're not, we're all in this situation together. And to further my colleague Paolo's statements, I mean, there is a temptation with misinformation and disinformation to try to like react and create more counter information. But the facts stand. The single census has been around since 1790. We are what we are. Like, we're blue, for example. I can't explain blue in another version to counteract another version of accusing us not being blue. You see? So, but back to your point, to allay the fears out there, specifically trust and confidence, it really comes down to our relationship. Right? We're in the trenches with you, we're in the communities with you all, and we try to work together for this entire year. So it's the burden's on us, quite frankly, to assure anyone out there who is not so sure about the census. We just got to lay it as is and keep the facts just bare, naked, and simple, right? And to anything that is like misinformation out there, to what I alluded earlier at the very beginning, let us know. Like, to the extent that if there is scams going out there, then report that to rumors at census.gov, but also let the partnership specialists know, so we can alert back to our trust and safety team. Maybe there is something more to this. Maybe there is something more like a very specific geographic scam towards seniors, with limited English proficiency in the Asian community in Orange County. Maybe there's something to be done there with Twitter or Facebook or something like that, right? But we got to have that two-way conversation, right? That's how trust is reinforced and built. And let me put this into a really concrete example. So Ravi, for example, when we're working with the Cambodian CCC, right? He said, and I think you're the one that said the ACS came out a month early, and I think he did the right thing. He goes, James, we just got this survey with we're not sure what it is. It asks for Social Security. You told us that in Decennial, there's no Social Security being asked, right? And then if we look at it, well, actually, it's not asking for Social Security, actually, right? We quickly got the conversation going. He took a picture of it. I looked at it. We got it around with our team. He said, well, wait a minute. Let's look at this. This looks legit. Let's check the numbers. Let's call them up. And this is very real. And it is an ACS. So the ACS, and as most of you know, it's every year. It's outside of the Decennial. So what they do is they do it yearly. It's more in depth. It's another survey. What it does is it tries to look at a more aggregate data at various geographic, targets certain communities. But the thing is, it's about random selection too, because they want to make it statistically powerful that it's capturing the breadth of the country on all these demographics. That there is a standard to this. What we say in 10 or 13, that things that come out of the census is all anonymized, right? It's all statistical, right? And so ACS is part of that. So I bring that example up because it was a working relationship, right? We had to figure this thing out because we felt that we wanted to make sure that at least the Cambodian community, where there's no false information being spread out. Is there a fake ACS coming out there? How can we work together to solve it? So,
and sometimes when folks are unfamiliar with the different surveys, whether it's the ACS or another Census Bureau survey, they just may assume some of the fears that they've heard, because none of our surveys ask for Social Security number. We will never ask for that. So if they've heard that, which is the misinformation, they may just assume that it's on there because they may not be able to read that survey in their language, right? So it's really important to let people know as well that misinformation, if they haven't already heard it, is coming. Let people know that they will hear misinformation and that you have the right information, and give them the right information first. The census is easy, it's safe, and it's important, right? So let's hear from this table over here.
Hi guys, my name is Ann Pham. I'm with the Westminster School District, not communicating to Westminster High School. Our team consisted of individuals from Irvine and Oregon, and we had kind of three major discussions, and it wasn't really so much as the trust, because we kind of addressed it during the conference today, but we acknowledge and we're really discussing the fear. It's the constant fear that we have to address. And one of the things that resonated with us was what the pastor had shared earlier. We have to acknowledge that with a lot of our families. And another subject was family crises, when that's happening, census data and self-reporting is not a priority. A lot of our families are dealing with crises, and they just don't care because they have to address that first. And so we were trying to figure out like some of the best strategies, what others use, and maybe you guys can share. How do you peel back those layers? You know, can anyone share how they peel back those layers with our families?
So, 90% direct services. We often deal with families that are going through some sort of crisis, whether it be housing, domestic, anything. So what we've been doing is while we're giving them these services, while we're helping them out, we see these people every day, every week, and we just occasionally pepper in, have you heard about the census? Have you seen all of our stuff that we have on it? You know you can still do it, right? But we do it when it's appropriate. We do it when the crisis isn't so proximate, when what they're going through isn't so near, but maybe at the end of a good day, or maybe when we finish dropping them off at their doctor's appointments or their other appointments, we're just like, oh, can you remember to fill this out? This is important because this helps you, this helps your family, this helps people like us, community orgs. So that's how we've been handling it, and I think it's going okay. I want to hope it's going okay.
Well, what's really special with our district too is that what's made an impact is the relationships. We have a lot of community-based organizations that are such advocates for our community and our families, that they are the trusted source. And as far as rumors and misconceptions, there's a lot of ways our families connect too. One of the things I think about is our Nextdoor app. Families get connected to that, even though there's first generations in our cultures that aren't tech savvy. They'll talk about the rumors. Oh, the police were down the street the other day. What happened? Well, you've got the kids telling the first and second generations. Well, this is what happened, because we're so connected that way. But again, it's addressing those fears and acknowledging, like the public assistance you were talking about. There are so many families, like the homelessness situation. So many families that need public assistance. They're not going to want to do anything because they will lose their funding. They're afraid of that. So I think our team was more of, okay, what other strategies? Can we get more strategies or best practices and information to address that? Because we're always constantly peeling those layers and providing the information. Like, we're constantly talking about facts. But what else can we use and do to help alleviate that?
So a lot of you are already doing that. One of the most important things that you're already doing at your school is you're providing a wonderful service. The reason why teachers and principals are trusted is because they care for children and they speak for children, right? A lot of you work in nonprofits and you provide a direct service to the community. So they're coming to you. The reason why they feel that they can share sensitive information with you about their personal struggles is because they already trust you. So if they're coming to you, you're a pastor, they're sharing their struggles with you, they trust you. We rely on you. You know how important this is. So the next step is to make it even easier for folks. Don't just tell people it's easy and it's safe and it's important. Invite them in to your particular event. If you have each one of your elementary schools where the principal's going to be outside for a particular date, you use your existing communication system to invite every family and their neighbors to come to your school site for that day. You open up your computer lab and you assist them in their language, have people that speak their language, partner with us, they're going to come. That's the best way to do it. Don't just say, it's coming in the mail and you go ahead and do it. That's the way to avoid an enumerator. No. Come on in. You're already coming to us. You trust us. We trust you to fulfill this responsibility that's going to benefit your family. Make it personal, right? Does that make sense? All right, let's hear from this group over here. Woo.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Sunny. I'm from Las Vegas. So let me go ahead and just give you our challenges and rumors all together before I tell you exactly what we were going to do about it. So the first one would be what this administration would do with the information, pretty much. Second, H1, J1, F1, or even green card holders, do they really need to fill out the census or not? I think somebody in that table said it earlier. Fear of giving out info, is it a scam? What are they gonna do with this information? Education of churches, for example. Are they getting the right information to be able to pass it on to their parishioners? Challenge, they're very busy. They're too busy to do the census, pretty much. Their fear of online hacking. Non-trust of the government. Again, scams, filling out forms because they're afraid that it will lead to jury duty. That's another one, that's a new one. And then,
Jury duty.
Well, I'm glad mine got the
we also have the one with they're concerned about the hiring process for the census, for the actual census, because they want to make sure that each community is represented. Let's see here, immigration issues, overstaying, so they're afraid to fill out the census because ICE might come to them. General disconnect from the census or from anything at all, pretty much. And then too many surveys right now, too many robocalls, especially it's election season, right? A lot of people just tend to ignore it. So some of the things that we've done to address some of these is education. Educating people of the mission of the census, especially for churches. Sherry, right? Yeah, Sherry's organization, that's what they do. They educate the churches, the head of the churches, on exactly what the mission of the census is, so the trusted partners can give that to their people that they represent. Telling those H1, J1, F1, or green card holders that they still matter. They need to be counted as well. Let's see here. Making sure that you tell them that it's not a scam. Not only that, the information that they're giving, it's not really personal information that they can use. In fact, you can even tell them what the FBI told me. Most people give out more of their information to merchandise or retailers than the census will on a daily basis. Just think about what you look at in Facebook, for example. They can tell exactly what you're doing. Too busy, you gotta educate them and tell them why it's important to take time to do this. Let's see here. Well, I don't know about the jury duty except for just really educating them that doesn't lead to that too much, right? Using media as a good vehicle to be able to spread the word or educate people. And that's pretty much it.
I was on jury duty yesterday. I found out that, yeah, thank you. The census doesn't use, first of all, the report is statistical, and everyone will be able to see those numbers. We'll be able to see how the Chamorro community is growing, right? We'll be able to see how the Korean community is growing. We'll be able to see how the Vietnam, etc., and exactly where. So we know how that impacts everybody. The administration doesn't have access to personally identifiable information. We don't share the information that's personally identifiable with the local police. We don't share it with the housing authority. We don't share it with the schools. We don't share it with our department, right? We don't share it with the US president. We don't share it with anybody, okay? So there's no way that someone can get that. That doesn't determine jury duty. I know what determines jury duty though, because they told me yesterday. Your DMV records and your voter registration as a backup, okay?
May I add something real quick? So for us, for example, in Las Vegas, the census is so huge, that's why we're so excited, because we can actually gain a congressional seat if the numbers are right. And that's huge for the state. So that's another thing that we're telling our members or our people.
Or you can lose one.
We can lose.
Oh, you can lose one, yeah.
Sonny, actually, thanks for bringing that up. Because a great segment I was going to say is, so when you think about the census, it is, as we said before, it's like the foundation of democracy, right? We have a right, to exercise who we are, right, in terms of self-identification, and to be represented, right? Hence, that's what you're saying. Now, here's the thing about misinformation and rumors and scams and things like that, right? So because we have such a great power, right? Our Constitution allows that for us to happen, right? It's a great opportunity for us to actually make that happen, but also a great opportunity for someone else to take that away, right? And so let's not anyone else take that away, right? I mean, so all the issues around trust, around okay, I don't understand, X, Y, and Z. What it all comes down to is, look, it'll come in the mail. You'll get a reminder. This is the first time it's going to be online, and it's very simple questions. And these questions will allow all that stuff to happen. You may gain a seat in the event, who knows? Or you may lose a seat, or better accuracy will allow more apportionment resources to go into the schools. And that's the thing. So to the extent that we know historically, underrepresented communities like the LEP, ethnic communities, seniors, homeless, et cetera, they're the ones that need it the most. That's why we're here, right? And so to the extent that let's not lose that focus, right? That's our vision to make 2020 happen. We can't lose that focus and lose that opportunity. So just want to emphasize that, right? It's the foundation of our democracy.
That's right. And I want to address different fears out there about responding online and whether that may be hacked. If people have that concern, then please wait for the paper form. Because if you don't respond online or by phone, you will receive a paper form, and you can do it by paper. And if you still don't trust that, you want to see someone with a badge come to your door, then by all means, right? But if you want to avoid the person coming to your door, then please respond either by phone, online, or by paper, okay? And again, like James said, for those who are here who are undocumented, for example, that's a real fear that they have, right? So if you're not the trusted voice, don't try to be that trusted voice. Find out who is the trusted voice for that particular family. And you all know, because we're all, connected, right? Find out who that person is, educate that person, have them deliver the right information. Because the fact of the matter is, we're in the United States of America, and there's a Constitution, and it doesn't matter whether you're a citizen or undocumented, you still have constitutional rights, okay? So let people know that. And one of their rights is to be seen and to be heard and to be counted in the census. Yes?
Quick point, more on insight. So we've talked about the religious communities and how we want to be able to galvanize. I came across something that was very interesting. It said, we have to go back to the time when Jesus was born. Joseph and Mary came actually to, right, to be part of the census, to be counted. And that's why they went to Bethlehem. It's true.
That is the Christmas story.
Yeah, that's the Christmas story. So you can draw upon that. The other thing is, we keep talking about fear, right? Fear is a very basic and strong human emotion. How do you overcome fear? Love, right? You have to turn it around and say, love for country. And no matter whether you're an immigrant and you've been here a year or you've been here 50 years, there's something about America that stirs the heart. And you gotta go back to that emotion, to that basic emotion and counter it. Because these are just facts that we're talking about. But when you go back to the emotion, that's a powerful tool that can move people to action.
Yes.
So my name is Joe Emlin. I come from the Micronesian community, live in Oregon. So I wanted to say I'm pretty thankful that we started off with kind of historical talk about our immigrant communities' experiences, and I think it was a good way to start, because in order to do something in our communities, we have to acknowledge their experiences. Not only acknowledge, we have to affirm them. And I think that if we look at it as a task to dispel fears, but not affirm them, we further exacerbate the divide between people and government and institutions. And I think that we have to affirm that it is true that though we have constitutions and we have an idealism called democracy, they're not perfect. And we see examples of that today by looking at the TV or your Twitter feed. You all know where I'm coming from. So to guarantee, and I want to get back to what my brother here said, to tell people to share their lives, put their lives on the line, so to speak, is a sacred obligation. We're telling people to actually uncover who they are. And it may be 9 questions, but you have to affirm why they're in the first there, because of what happened in the first place. And also our approach and communication is very important. Strategy has to start with the approach. If we come and we say we want to educate churches, but I've never heard anybody say, why don't churches educate us? There's a reason why churches are trusted, because they have been people who have held people's trust for a long time. But to come in and say, here's a census and you can trust us, that's not something that we should take, trust on a whim, because it takes centuries to develop that trust. So I think we also should kind of turn the tables too. We need to learn and acknowledge that there is a lot of learning from our communities and those networks of trust that have been built for years in order for us to be able to come to the people's table. It's not just about bringing people to our tables and tell them this is important, but also making sure that we are invited to the people's table, to where people are at. And it's true, people are facing a lot of crises, and there are things you're guaranteeing. And I know I work for the government, and I've also worked in the community. We can say, yes, this is separate. Police officers swear an oath. We trust that. But then there are incidences like in the Micronesian community just months ago, a kid, 14-year-old kid, was shot to death by the very people who took an oath and who you have given your trust to, for the protection of your kids. So let's not dispel those fears. What I'm saying is we have to affirm them. And when they ask me, is this something I can trust? I tell them we will do our very best. But we can't say, we guarantee this is not going to be used here. We'll say what we are trying to do. And I think that makes you more believable, because honesty, once you lose, trust, it's hard to get that back. So that's my 2 cents.
Right.
Okay, so I know that we want to continue this conversation, but we do have another session. So thank you everybody so much for being so candid and for being present here and sharing these and addressing them as well. Because your roles as leaders in this room is to help alleviate those fears. So we're counting on you all as well. So please go to your next breakout session and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.